Hello, my name's Michael. We're here to give you a little introduction to musical bones, which is an ancient rhythm instrument. And I'm here under the auspices of the Northern Arizona Celtic Heritage Society today. And we do need to thank our sponsors. It's part of our agreement to show our appreciation as a nonprofit. So today it's the Arizona Commission on the Arts, the Flagstaff Arts Council, Flagstaff Community Foundation, the City of Flagstaff, and Coconino County. So thank you, grantors. What I would like to do today is pray on a willing subject and do a little bit of a version of what we do in our Bones workshops at our Celtic Festival when it is a live festival. Obviously the pandemic has compromised things, but we're doing these YouTubes to bring you some of the education richness that we can provide to our audience. So today Chris has volunteered. You may know her as Celtic Chris with the kitchen also on some of our YouTubes. So thank you for agreeing to
My pleasure.
be my victim today. Bones is like I had mentioned briefly, an ancient rhythm instrument. If you can think of a couple of cavemen, if you will, or ancient Celts strolling through the forest, and they're just a little bored for some music and some rhythm, and they find some bones from a former carcass. And there's a couple of bones they can knock together, and I can get some rhythm going with that. And rhythm is one of the foundations of all sorts of music, not just Celtic music. So it provides a good underlayment and accompaniment. So what we offer in our workshops is a very ultra expensive penny bone that we can afford as a nonprofit to give away to all of our participants in the classes. And it's enough to get things started. And I'm going to introduce you to penny bones today.
These don't look like something you'd find in the woods.
No, no. But I have some things that you might pick up in the woods. We'll show those a little later. So first I need to know, are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
Okay. And what you want to do is put your middle finger of your right hand between the two bones. And
So the pennies are together.
pennies are together and on the bottom end of this stick.
Okay. Oh, between. My middle finger goes between.
Yep.
Okay.
And the most important thing to learn how to do is, if you think of trying to hit something that's moving all the time, it's tough to get it regular. And this becomes, one towards your little finger, becomes your anvil.
That's the
So it needs to
stationary
be
one.
steady.
And do you hold it
Oh,
down with
no,
that fourth
no,
finger?
I spoke out of turn. I have to sort of think this through because I know how to do it automatically. This becomes your anvil closest to your thumb.
Okay.
So your middle finger, you've got it in perfect position. It's on the edge of that one, and it's holding that one down. But meanwhile, you'll notice the other one will,
Clickety-clack.
yeah,
Kind of.
you can make.
Now, are you holding that one closest to your thumb down
No, they will,
with your middle finger?
yeah, what
Okay.
you were doing.
Boy, that feels strange.
It is for just about everybody that tries to do this. Don't shake your hand because that also throws control away from you.
Ooh,
But twisting your wrist just like that, you're starting to make some noise.
little tiny noises. But I've heard you do it, and it doesn't sound anything like this.
Well, this is a way to start that's very affordable. In fact, any of you watching our YouTube can make some of these at home if you have an interest in trying to start out with bones. These are a tongue depressor that's available at like a CVS or a Walgreens, and a simple penny. Find the best, strongest glue that you have around the house. If it's like our house, there's a junk drawer with glue in it. Make sure your pennies have a chance to set up, and then you can start banging away. And I'll put some music on in a few minutes here, because that's what you want to do, is learn how to play with music to get your tempo right. You're doing good.
I'm having a problem with it sliding down, the one close to my little finger.
One of the built-in challenges with such a thin piece of wood.
Okay.
I'll let you try a real pair of bones here in a minute.
If I graduate.
No, it's almost an absolute necessity, because they are so much easier
Okay.
than these skinny little things. So let's see if we can just get a regular beat going.
Okay.
You can see mine even shakes around, because I don't play with this kind all the time, but it gets people started.
Just getting used to holding it. It's so strange.
It's not your everyday thing to experience. You're doing good on the wrist movement. A lot of people, this is true of the Baran too, they get their wrists all discombobulated, and it's really hard to have control of your bones.
It's kind of like turning a doorknob.
Exactly.
Okay.
In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's one of my hints for people in the classes. Let me put on a little piece of music, and let's see if we together can get a beat going to
Okay.
accompany it. Just I'll go faster. You know what's another frustrating thing when you're starting? Is bones fly out of your hands. It's when you least expect it. Well, that's sort of giving our viewers an idea of what it sounds like. Now, if you listen closely you can hear, it's not bones, it's actually a Baran that's got a percussive underlayment to this particular tune. So we're going to graduate you to the big boys.
Okay.
Because you'll find that it's a lot easier.
Now you have
First-
lots of different colors and kinds.
I do, and there's a reason for that. That's a good segue to introduce some of the things that I have learned just as a preamble. First off, if you're going to make yourself a pair of penny bones, make 2 pair. I really suggest that you try and get both of your hands learning how to do the bones. I myself started out only right-handed, and it took a long time once I figured out that there's a lot more I can do with 2 sets going than I can with 1. And one of the things that I like to do when I'm playing, like in our session group or something, is to use a couple different materials. These happen to be cow shin bones. They're called a nautical style bone. These are resin casted from cattle ribs.
They sound
Very
really different.
different sound. What I like getting different tones, different effects. leg can't help but move a little bit. So, so I explained two of them. There's various kinds of wood that I have, and they're all for different sounds and different applications. These probably look like black keys on a piano because they're ebony. They're probably the hardest, dense hardwood that I have, and they're also the loudest as a result of that.
Now, all of your bones aren't as flat as the tongue depressors. They've got a curve to them, and how your
That was one thing I couldn't introduce with the penny bones because they are flat, exactly like you're seeing. But we're going to let you play some, and you're a very astute student. You ask great questions at the right time. You play them with the curve going toward each other.
Okay.
Some have more, some have less. This is a good step from the penny bones because they're thicker, but they still are sort of flat. This is called a crocus wood.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's so many pretty hardwoods that you can find these in. I think you'll find it's a lot easier to keep a controlled rhythm. Now remember your middle finger holding the edge of the one closest to your thumb.
Oh, that's the stationary one.
This
No.
one is.
Okay. I get, oh. I can handle that much.
It's more controlled though than
It is.
than the penny bone. Why don't you try going up the stick just a little bit? Yeah.
Get more dangling down there. The sound is different too.
Yeah, that's going to be very different than this one. You just keep going. Actually, this guy.
Now those look shorter too.
They are. There isn't a uniform dimension. There's some that are typical. This is another wood variety, and you see it's kind of flat like those. This is walnut, and it has a bright kind of sound to it.
Oh yeah.
So it's got a little deeper resonance than the crocus wood. And I won't go through all of them, but I'll just pull a couple out of here. I believe this one is, I'm not sure. I have one in here that's ash, like baseball bats are made out of. But this is very
That's a neat sound.
loud, but still it's got some resonance inside it. So why don't do you want to try two pair?
Ooh, I can't imagine, but sure.
I do encourage you to work at that. Remember, middle finger holds down the one closest to your thumb.
Okay.
Okay, now let's see if you can make some noise. It's gonna feel real awkward.
It hit.
But throwing your arm doesn't help. It's the twist.
Turning.
There you go. Now let's see if you can look at you. Very good. You get an A for today's course.
But play some music and show me what it can really, really sound like.
Okay. We'll continue with this tune because it's a good reel. get that other hand in there.
This one disappeared.
There you go.
That's hard. It was hard for me.
And do you feel muscles? Because
Yeah,
your
definitely.
forearms, it's something that
You get used to?
you get used to and you get in shape for it. But
Well, that's got to be good.
should probably show these guys because they're very much rib bones, probably off of a deer or head of cattle. Let's see, these were the ones I think came off a poor Irish cow that we bought when we were in Ireland way back when. So
got a nice
still
sound.
still a different sound. So they're pretty cool. It gives a collector an excuse to have more than two pair because it says, I need different tones. I need to mix them up. So it's a flimsy excuse, but it's a musical addiction. So
And then, so this originally came for, or how old is this? I mean, how,
nobody really knows because if you think of when Cro-Magnon man was running around and taking down woolly mammoths and so forth and making a
They
meal
could've-
out of them, some of that could have provided some tools for making rhythm noises.
and they even have festival. I've heard of bones festivals before.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my souvenir shirt from one festival.
And where was
Um,
that?
That was, this particular one was in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. I didn't go to this one. But there are crazies that play bones, and there is a Rhythm Bone Society. There's things to be learned. If you go to the festivals, you learn a lot by playing with other crazy people, and it's really fun. Usually, with those, you play with a string band, kind of like we do with our Sunday sessions.
Gesundheit.
Excuse me. So yeah, and that's another thing that goes on in your town and our town and all over the world are session groups where you can, if you're a musician and you have an interest in Celtic music, you can take your instrument, sit down and listen, and there's kind of rules of courtesy. Like, I wouldn't go into a session, start banging my bones, just totally cold walking off the street. Some people might get offended. It has to fit in properly. So I'm encouraging anybody who has musical inclinations to consider attending some Irish sessions. They're typically at pubs, sometimes at churches. You can find them on the internet. And so I think that's a bare introduction to this crazy ancient rhythm instrument. Do you have any questions?
I'm
you
sure.
asked very insightful questions. Thank you.
Well, practice. I think just practice.
Yep, that's true of any musical instrument. So,
Well,
Okay.
thank you.
so we'd like to wrap this up today, and thanks for being here. Hopefully this all turns out and you learned something. I'm Michael. This is Willing Subject Chris.